everyone. Welcome back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa, where I'm so pleased to be joined by Jeff Morrison, who leads GM's Global Purchasing and Supply Chain. And Jeff, you joined us for a fireside chat, really talking the gamut of issues facing the industry right now. I would like for our wider audience, if you can just give us a sense of some of your really key priorities in purchasing and supply chain right now.
Yeah, so I think it's we're in this point in time where it's a lot of disruptions are happening. We're moving towards electrified, propulsion in our vehicles. We're moving to automated driving, autonomous. Our electrical architectures are changing. So it's really how do we help navigate that with our suppliers and with our partners to really make sure that we're helping them transition as well as us, and to really bring the best of the best technology forward.
And when we spoke last year, a bit more than a year ago, the industry was very capacity constrained in certain areas, vehicle logistics. Before that, it was semiconductors. Right now, there may be other things happening due to strikes, et cetera. How has it changed the way you work with your suppliers and logistics providers to try to navigate these kind of capacity constraints?
I think one of the things that we've learned is really the need to get a lot deeper into our value chains. And so we're, of course, partnering with our tier one suppliers like we always have, but what we're finding is there's key areas that we really need to get deeper, and semiconductors being one of the more obvious ones. But if you look at what we're doing with electrification, we're getting partnerships all the way back to the mines and a lot of the processing steps to be able to make battery grade materials that go into batteries. And we're doing the same thing as we look at electrical architectures and software and services that we want to bring onto the vehicles. So it's really it's expanding our partnership network and having some of the new partnerships that we know are really critical to the technology that we need, as well as just securing the value chain of supply that we need.
And as you mentioned to our audience, where logistics capacity may be constrained in places, you also need your partners to work with you and offer some of the preference and priority that you need in certain regions.
And I think this is a core expectation of what we have, right? So our business, where we build vehicles, where we sell vehicles, these things remain and continue. We've been a great partner for a number of years. We want to make sure that we're able to flow material in to be able to build those great vehicles. We want to make sure we can get the vehicles out to our dealers and customers. And as we find areas that maybe have capacity constraints, as the ebbs and flows of a global markets and deliveries of vehicles change, we just want to ensure that we're getting the preference that we think we've earned over time, and that we've got that capacity at the right cost for us to really be able to deliver kind of affordable, great vehicles to our customers.
So we know that the EV market has its challenges, but what is clear is that it's growing and there's a lot of investment, and that we'll continue to see more EVs. How do you see that changing the logistics market and logistics players for General Motors?
So I think securing capacity and making sure that we can not only build the vehicles, but have the capacity to be able to deliver vehicles to our customers is really important. And I think we need to make sure that we're doing that in a way that is providing affordable options for customers, which means we've got to be laser focused on optimizing and reducing material costs. We need to be optimizing and reducing our logistics cost as much as possible. And so it's those two factors. And I think as we look at how we move vehicles specifically today, there's probably opportunity to really relook at some of the equipment that we use, some of the methods that we use to really deliver vehicles most efficiently. And what I'm looking for our supplier partners to help do is really innovate and let us partner with them to bring some of those more efficient. Maybe haul-away looks different. Maybe if you think about a car hauler today that's looked the same as it has for as long as I can remember, and can load 10 or 12 vehicles. Now today, when you look at electric vehicles, because of the weight, maybe you can't fit as many on it. So does it really make sense to have 3 or 4 vehicles on a car hauler that size? And I think that's a very simple example, but I think there's other examples like that. And so thinking about what that could look like and what must be true to be able to make that a viable business for them and for us to be able to partner together on it, I think is where I'd want to focus.
Absolutely, and as you said, it will require strategic partnership, and GM, as you've done in other areas like battery, semiconductor, ready and willing to step into partnerships to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other strategic area I wanted to touch on is sustainability, also a key objective. What are some of the key ways that you're driving to drive sustainability into your logistics and supply chain?
So from a supply chain standpoint and a supplier partner standpoint, we want suppliers that, first of all, kind of commit and sign a pledge with us that we're going to be partners together to work on more sustainable methods, whether it's materials, processing, and just reducing their carbon footprint. Carbon neutral would be certainly one of the goals as we go forward. We want suppliers to also measure, their performance, so that once you start measuring something, it's very easy to kind of say, how do we improve that year over year? And then, from a supply standpoint, we want to look at how do we reduce the distance, the number of miles that we're moving goods, whether it's material or vehicles, and then we also want to look at, how do you look at cleaner modes of transport within those areas, and moves towards electrification or other more efficient kind of propulsion methods are a big part of that.
Absolutely. And finally, Jeff, just what would be some messages you'd send to your partners in logistics, for example, that would help them to grow and help you meet your goals over the next years?
Well, I think, talk to us, make sure that we're connecting in terms of what you're seeing happening in the market. If there's best practices, new innovations that you're seeing, bring them to us. Let's discuss it. We want to be on the leading edge with you. If there's opportunities for us to work differently together than what we're doing today, by all means, let's have a discussion about that. There's a number of strategic partners that we have, but we're also looking at, in other areas, how do we be more strategic in terms of how we work together, how we structure contracts and agreements to really kind of enable some of the key investments that we need, secure the capacity of goods and flows that we need, and just to really kind of set ourselves up to be in a better position to both win here as we go forward with the future.
Fantastic message to end on, Jeff. I want to thank you again for all of your time with us here and the messages you said with our partners. Thanks to all of you for following us here and keeping up with the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa, sponsored by Unipart Logistics. Check out our live blog for more insights from the event, and come and check out another one of our events. We've got more things coming up in Mexico, in Munich, and much, much more, and we'll be back here as well in Dearborn in 2025. So looking forward to then, and thanks again from Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Global.